Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video just another guy on the internet, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing the RMS Iconic made by Cronosdarth. So yeah, here we finally have the final ship of the Tyrannic class. The Iconic is the second sister to the Tyrannic, the first of which was the Heroic. And the Iconic is probably also the largest, fastest, and most luxurious of the trio. And I must say it is quite nice. Especially compared to the old version, which I actually still do have saved. And yeah, so you are going to notice quite a bit of exterior differences between Iconic and her older sisters. Probably the most noticeable is the fact that Iconic has 3 funnels, whereas Tyrannic had 5 and Heroic had 4. Here, Iconic sports 3 large, almost kind of squat funnels. And the overall design of the ship really does remind me a bit of the cancelled Oceanic 3 from the White Star line. And there are a few other minor differences as well. For example, you can also see that the forward well deck is now enclosed, whereas on her older sisters, this was completely open. So now both the forward and aft well decks are enclosed. And this was also something that the old version had as well, where the forward well deck was enclosed, where the older versions of Tyrannic and Heroic were open. And you also do see something similar to this with the Britannic 3 and the Georgic 2, the last 2 White Star liners. Let's see, what else? So, you can also see that the windows on the Promenade Deck the Promenade Deck has now floor-ceiling windows here, instead of the smaller windows that you see on Tyrannic and Heroic. And also the last thing I'll point out is that the wheelhouse here, the color of it now matches the rest of the superstructure, which Tyrannic had, but on Heroic you had kind of this dark wood paneling. And there are a few other minor differences probably, but I probably won't notice them. There are a few others, but I'll mention them later. But yeah, so let's actually start reviewing the interior here. And of course, we are going to start out on the bridge here. Right here, we're on the actual bridge wings, which are enclosed at the ends, at the bridge caps here. So yeah, I got the Morse lamps here, bridge wings here, and the actual bridge right here. So, very large, very spacious bridge here, and it's pretty much the same as the first 2 sisters here. Not a whole lot has really changed. Got the wheelhouse here, of course, with the helm, watertight door control here, some storage here, some shelves, some other equipment here. So, a lot of detail. And then back here you do have the officers' quarters, kind of. Really, the actual officers are accommodated on the deck below. Up here you just have a bunch of storage rooms and other miscellaneous stuff here. But, you know, most notably you do have the chart room here. Very nice design here. Pretty typical of the time period as well. So yeah, wheelhouse, we went there. Got the electric room, lamp store, map store. So yeah, not really anything too interesting here. And you do also have the staircase that leads down to the actual officers' quarters on the boat deck. And last but not least, you do have the radio locating room. So not a whole lot going on up here. For the actual top deck, you do have a couple of lifeboats here, as you can see, and more lifeboats along this side, with, of course, the gravity davits, which you do see on the other ships in the class. And, of course, this was pretty standard for ships of the time, using the actual gravity davits. You do see a lot of ships during this time have them implemented. And just like Heroic, Iconic also does have the superstructure along the actual top deck here, which Tyrannic didn't have. And what this allows for is that since the Heroic and Iconic have a different number of funnels, they don't actually match up with the actual uptakes. So this allows for the funnels to actually connect to the actual uptakes here. As you can see, right here are the actual uptakes, and right here is the actual funnel. So, and what's also really cool is you can actually access the funnel here. So it kind of reminds me of the Britannic 3 and the Georgic 2. The forward funnel was a dummy. It was a dummy funnel, and I think there was a few crew areas inside of it. So, just another kind of reference there. Even though the Tyrannic class is fictional, it does have a lot of references and inspiration from other liners. And yeah, and so there's not much going on here in the actual deck houses here. You know, the actual superstructure. It's pretty much just ventilation and other machinery and equipment. So nothing really too interesting. And of course, you do have a lot of details here. You got benches, you got vents, you got skylights, expansion joints, and he even took the time to add in the actual life preservers. So yeah, you got a ton of detail, and you also do have some life rafts as well, which is a neat touch. And yeah, so Accumulator Room, you do see something like this on the RMS Britannic or HMHS Britannic, which had an Accumulator Room added. And it's pretty much just spare batteries here, or something like that. I don't know too much about it, so I'm not the right person to ask about that. But yeah, so again, you do have the skylights here. You got the skylight over the Atlantic room here, first class. Got the skylight over the main forward first class staircase here. As you can see, the extra deck here does add an extra level to some of the spaces on the boat deck. So yeah, you can see a lot of detail here, and you do have the skylight over the Café de Versailles and also the Ledberry Restaurant dome. Let's see. That's interesting. So yeah, funnels here, and you can see that the funnels here are pretty big. They're wider than the actual funnels on the Heroic and Tyrannic. So they're pretty wide here. Again, does kind of remind me of the Oceanic 3 in some ways. So yeah, heading aft, again, there's not much else to really see. You just got more of the same stuff. Life rafts, ventilation, skylights, so. And you can go inside the funnels here, again. So yeah, more life rafts, which is definitely useful to have in an emergency, so they can be launched or pretty much just floated off of the ship here. Got some really big vents here, very detailed. Got the skylight over the aft first class staircase, and got kind of like, actually, no, I don't know what this thing is. But yeah, more vents. Got the actual engine hatch here. So on Tyrannic, the last two funnels provided ventilation to the two engine rooms. Here, again, the funnels have been moved. So for the actual engine rooms, you do have a actual engine hatch skylight instead. So yeah, let's see. Got the engine room elevator. So this goes all the way down to the actual floor of the engine room. And here's the actual engine casing, and you can see just how far that goes down. So let's see what else. Vent room, yeah, I'm not going to check that out. It's pretty much just the same thing again. And yeah, so got more skylights over some of the second class public spaces, and got the second engine hatch here. And another engine room elevator. And also got the skylight again over second class. This is over the second class cafe, I think veranda cafe, and the also you can look all the way down to the second class public room. So, and here at the aft end of the top deck, we do have some deck chairs here, so you get a very nice view of the stern, and you also have some staircases for easy access to the lower deck below, which is the boat deck, which we'll be getting to right now, actually. So, and yeah, so that was the top deck. Up next, we have the boat deck, which on the boat deck, you do have um, the actual public spaces and passenger accommodation. But first, at the forward section, you do have the actual officers' quarters. And another thing I want to point out is that just like Heroic, Iconic does have this 2-deck tall kind of promenade space here, which is inspired by the Imperator class, which did have something very similar. So yeah, the upper level here is on the boat deck, and the lower level is down on the promenade deck here, with a staircase connecting the two. And you also do have a staircase on the other side. And also, sorry for the lag, guys. I do have my render distance turned up quite a bit, so you can see a lot more. And you do have the plaque here, Cronos Corp Shipbuilding Company 2015. Very nice. Again, I love all the little details that he adds. And yeah, here you have another staircase going down to the promenade deck. And you also do have a staircase going up to the bridge. Of course, this is for crew only, as passengers would not be allowed up here. But the passengers, first class passengers, do get all of this deck space that you see right in front of you. And yeah, crew only. So yeah, this leads to the officers' quarters here. And of course, you do have the actual officers' cabins here. So right here, you do have the third officer. Pretty basic cabin here. Nothing really, too fancy. It's pretty basic. But all of the officers do get their own private baths, which is a pretty nice touch. So yeah, I got some baths here. You also do have some various crew here, like dishwashers as well. So yeah, 6th officer, and he is the lowest ranking officer on board here. But even he gets a private bath here, as you can see. And yeah, so here you can see the staircase that leads up to the actual bridge house here. And yeah, the vent unit's there. So yeah, I got the pilot here who is at the helm. And you can see that he also does get a private bath as well. Got the assistant commander with a very nice cabin. In fact, he does get a sitting room and a separate bedroom area, complete with a private bath. And also a very nice view of the front of the ship. Got the commander with a little bit better cabin as well. It's a little bit bigger here and a nicer design in my opinion. So yeah, sitting room, bedroom, and private bath. And yeah. And back here you also do have the first officer. Again, it's all pretty much the same style here for all of the officers except the commanders here. So yeah, basic design really. And also the adjoining private bath here. And you also do have the chief officer here. Again, got a private bath here. So yeah, making our way aft here. Got more officers, got the 2nd officer as you can see. 5th officer here. And 4th officer, so. And yeah, but you also do have some cooks here. And pantrymen, and these guys right here, along with the waiters, serve the Atlantic room, which we'll be getting to very shortly. And it's located not too far away from here, so that's why they're in this area here. And you also do have some stewards as well, probably for the actual officers. And here's probably, I think, their bath and water closet, since of course they don't have their own private bath. You also do have the radio room, so you do have the wireless right here, the skylight above. In here you do have the actual wireless operators, there seems to be 2 of them, and also a silent cabin which contains all the necessary equipment in order to run the actual telegraph here. And you also do have kind of this area here, got the Marconi office, so passengers can come here to send letters via the wireless. So you have a little window here, and this is where they would send their letters, and they would be transmitted. So yeah, crew only, and this does lead back to the actual officers' quarters here. Just kind of leads back here. So yeah, with that, we can now head into first class. And starting off here, we do have the main forward first class grand staircase here, with a very nice design. I'm definitely a very big fan of this. I did like the old design as well, and here it's improved by quite a bit. It's still kind of similar. It does have the very large skylight here, and also the flooring here is identical to the one on the old version, but it's definitely still very much improved here. And I do much like it. You know, I still do think Heroic's staircase is the best, but this is a close second. I'm still a very big fan of this. It is a very nice staircase indeed. And yeah, and you can also notice that's a little bit more modern than her older sisters, and you're going to see this with Iconic quite a bit, that some of the interiors are a little bit more modern than her older sisters here. So yeah, you do have the Marconi office right off of the staircase here, and you also do have a few lavatories here as well, and you do have a little bit of crew here. Got some stewards here, inquiry steward, so nothing too interesting there. And you do have the entrances on each side here, with the promenade space here with the lifeboats, of course. And yeah, so you do have the actual staircase here, very nice. Again, it's pretty much a Heroic staircase here. Tyrannic had a different shaped staircase. And you still do have the 2 elevators running right behind them. So yeah, boat deck, which is the highest level of first class here. And also connected right to the staircase is the Atlantic Room, which is referencing the Atlantic Room on the Queen Mary 2. So yeah, this was the cafe on the older sisters. Here's the Atlantic Room, and it's still pretty much a cafe here, but it does have a new, much more modern design, as you can see here. You know, still got the skylight here, got the windows, but yeah, the overall design here is much more modern than on Tyrannic and Heroic here. It's still very, very nice. I do like the actual design here. This definitely seems like a very nice place to come, sit down, relax. And you do have the pantry that serves it. It's pretty much the same as on the other sisters, so definitely don't want to spend too much time here. But this does lead back to the actual officers' quarters here. So, and yeah. So let's start making our way aft again. So yeah, more entrances. Boat deck, elevators. So yeah, you do have the Café de Versailles, and on Tyrannic and Heroic, this was actually the lounge, but now this has been converted into the Café de Versailles, and this is something you did see on the older version of Iconic as well. And it is named after Versailles, and it definitely, this room definitely does give me that impression. It's a very nice it's a very nice style indeed. It does remind me of something you would see at Versailles. Kind of got this French style here. Got a piano, plenty of seating here. Floor-to-ceiling windows. So, very nice space. And you can also notice that it does have the kind of the well and dome overlooking the restaurant below. The old version actually did not have this. It did still have the skylight, but it did not have the actual dome here. And I'm glad that it was brought back for Iconic. But you can see a small difference is that there's no glass in these spaces here. It's completely open, which I definitely do like. It definitely looks a bit nicer without the actual glass. Makes it feel more open and airy, pretty much. And yeah, so there was the Cafe de Versailles. You do have the second entrance back here. Kind of got this reception room here. And you do see that it's a new design here. The wall coverings are pretty much the same, but it's now got this wooden flooring instead of carpet. So yeah, you do have some lavatories here. So yeah, making our way aft, you still do have the crew spaces here. So yeah, some waiters. So yeah, pretty much just waiters for the actual cafe here. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time with the actual crew areas since we've explored a good portion of them on Tyrannic and Heroic, and it's pretty much just the same thing here. But we are going to review the smoke room here for first class. It does have a new design, as you can see. And just like the cafe, it does have kind of the style that does remind me of Versailles here. Kind of got this Rococo style here, I think. I'm not too sure, I'm really just guessing at this point. But it does have a similar style to actually the old version here, with this flooring and the actual wall coverings. But it has been improved upon. Again, got the floor-to-ceiling windows here. Big fireplace here, as you can see. And you also do have the emergency exit that leads to the that leads up from the projector room for the cinematic room. And you still do have the staff captain here. This room hasn't changed at all on all three ships, so there's really no point in checking out. Down here, you still do have the veranda. This hasn't changed either. If you've seen Heroic, you would know that this is pretty much still the same. It's still got the tiled floor here, and the entrance leading out on deck here. The only difference, however, you can see, you might notice it, is that there's now windows added for the actual veranda inside of the ship here. So this wasn't here on Tyrannic or even Heroic. You do have some windows added, and again, it does look very nice here. It feels more modern here. Speaking of which, here is the aft first class staircase, again with a more modern design, and one that reminds me of the Britannic 3 and Georgic 2 actually. So, but yeah, much more modern design here than on the older sisters. Still got the skylight here and chandelier. Big mirror, as you can see. So yeah, and you still do have the elevators, of course. And yeah, and you still got the entrance there. And that's about it for first class, so we can now head into second class, which there are a couple ways you can get into second class. One of them through this storage room here, and it's connected to the pantry that serves the veranda. But this is now second class here, as you can see, and you do have a handful of actual staterooms for second class on the boat deck here. So yeah, and you do have some lavatories, of course, and some storage areas. But you do have the second class main staircase here, and it's pretty much the same as Heroics, except the banister is a little bit different. But other than that, it's pretty much the same here. Got the big skylight right above it here. So yeah, very nice, modern design here. And you do have a little bit of crew areas off to the side. More entrances here. And you can see the actual barrier that separates first and second class here, along with the actual expansion joint here. Got some deck chairs, of course. So yeah, let's head back into second class here. Got the single elevator for second class here. So you have two public spaces here. You got the Biedermeier smoke room on the port side here, and this is still relatively unchanged from Heroic here, as you can see. It's pretty much the same room. Floor-to-ceiling windows, pretty modern design, skylight. Very nice here. But what has changed is that the lounge on the Tyrannic and Heroic is now the Emperor's Saloon on Iconic. And this is also something that you see on the old version as well, except the Emperor's Saloon on the old version was actually for first class, not second. And you do have a skylight here, and a pantry. So, and this room, I think, has changed a little bit, or not at all. I think it was only just renamed. So yeah, you do have two entrances. You got this opening here, and then this set of doors here, and this all just kind of wraps around here, this hallway. And you now do have the Emperor's Cafe here, instead of the actual Veranda Cafe. And it does have a slightly different design, I believe. Looks a little bit different. But it has changed, nevertheless, here with this kind of well here. This wasn't here on the Tyrannic or Heroic, as you can see. You now have a pretty big well here. And this well is actually the well that you see on the Kaiser Wilhelm II, one of the ships of the Kaiser class from North German Lloyd. And according to Cronosdarth, this is actually original, so they just pretty much just took the actual dome here and inserted it into the ship, so that's pretty cool here. And I do like this. At first I wasn't a big fan of it, but it's definitely grown on me a bit. I think it's definitely a very cool and unique feature. So yeah, just adds a little bit more light, especially to the second class public room, which you can see down below here. So it's pretty cool, and I'll show you what it looks like from down there once we reach that area. And you also do have the winter garden down on the Promenade Deck, as you can see. So it spans really early 3 levels, but it's technically 4 because the public room is 4 decks tall. And of course, you do have a skylight here, of course. So yeah, very nice. And the and you do have the Emperor's Cafe as well, with some doors leading out on deck here. So the boat deck just kind of wraps around back here, and it is covered in this area here, which we saw in Heroic. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. You do have the stairs leading back up to the top deck there. Got plenty of seating here for outdoor seating if you don't want to go inside. And yeah, so a lot of detail, as you can see, and more staircases here. And there's a little barrier, so I think that might be for first class or crew. And yeah, so there's the boat deck. Up next we do have the Promenade Deck, which on the old version was A deck. So yeah, Promenade Deck here. You got the lower level here of this promenade space. And you can see the floor-to-ceiling windows here on the Promenade Deck, which is new for Iconic here. On the on Tyrannic and Heroic, you did have smaller windows here, but now you have floor-to-ceiling windows, which you do see on many real-life liners. One that I can remember off the top of my head is actually the SS France from 1960. So yeah, more stairs here, expansion joints, benches, so, you know, a lot of detail. So yeah, first class entrance, we're back in the main staircase here. And yeah, so very nice here. And you still do have the barber shop here, but as you can see, there's now a window here, which wasn't here on the older ships, on Tyrannic and Heroic again. And you still do have the ladies' hairdresser here. This hasn't changed. You still do have the accommodation forward here. So yeah, and these cabins haven't changed at all on all three ships. So yeah, got the two styles here. And also the actual hallways here also haven't really changed. I don't think the flooring looks a little different. I think it was more blue on Heroic. But you still do have this three suites here, which have been renamed. You now have the Dickens suite, the Arthur Conan Doyle suite, and the Shakespeare suite. So you notice that all three suites are named after famous English writers. On Heroic, this was the Britannic suite, the Olympic suite, and the Titanic suite. And then also on Tyrannic, it was also different. This was the White Star suite and the Haysham suite. So, in the suites, some of the rooms in the suites have actually changed. I think the actual sitting rooms, because the bedrooms here look same here. And yes, and of course you do have the private baths, of course. Got the kind of little entrance area, sitting room. Let's see, kind of like a study. And bedroom. So yeah, very nice styles here. Got kind of like an Empire style, looks like here. And kind of got like a little bit of a colonial style here, I think. So yeah, there's the accommodation there, and of course it is complete with some lavatories and baths for the cabins that don't have the privilege of having a private bath. So yeah, got entrances, more entrances here. And you still do have this kind of like shopping area here. Still got the clothing store, manicurist here. And these actual spaces really haven't changed either. Yeah, got the jeweler, groceries. Again, I'm very sorry for the lag here. Not sure why it's acting up. Usually it doesn't have an issue, but for some reason it is. Might be also due to the fact that I had the resource pack on. Not sure. But yeah, so there you have the board shop, and you do have the crew spaces here. So you have the kind of like fan room there, and more accommodation here. We're not really going to get into it. I've already explored those spaces on the previous ships. So yeah, I got another first class entrance, and this reception area is for the Grand Qing restaurant here. So on Heroic, this was actually two separate spaces. You had the Winter Garden, and also the Ritz-Carlton restaurant. But here on Iconic, the Grand Qing restaurant is one big restaurant, and it does combine both spaces into one here. So that's the reason why it's so big here, because it's actually the former two spaces just combined into one here. And it's very big, and it's also very nice here. It's a very nice design here. You know, kind of got this kind of Asian style here. Got bamboo. It's a very nice style here. Again, you got the floor sill windows here. It's a very nice space. It's very big. And yeah, so currently, so yeah, that leads to the galley there. But you do have the Great Britain pub here, adjoining it. And on the previous ships, you did have the Great Western pub and the Great Eastern pub. Here's the Great Britain pub, so you're So you'll notice that it's named after Isambard Brunel's 3 ships. And of course you do have the Great Britain, which is actually still around today as a museum ship. But yeah, so this is pretty much, a bar, a pub. And you do have a model of the SS Great Britain here, glass display. But the actual room I don't think has really changed. Maybe the furniture has been rearranged, but the actual design here of the floor and paneling is still pretty much the same here. So yeah, I got the bar here, got a separate entrance from the promenade here. And yeah, and this also can be accessed from the Aft Staircase, as you can see, as well as the Grand Chain Restaurant here. So yeah, and that's actually it for first class on the Promenade Deck here. So yeah, we're going to fly through the pantry areas here. Got the Galley 40 restaurant here. And you also do have the second class galley that serves the second class a la carte restaurant. This also looks like it hasn't changed much from Heroic, and I think even Tyrannic here. This is the, again, the a la carte restaurant for second class here. And you also do have the reception room, which is just off of the main staircase here. Still got the library. Yeah, this hasn't really changed here. Still got the barber shop here for the gentleman, and the ladies hairdresser here for the woman. So yeah, emergency exit, staircase again, elevator, and here you can see the actual elevator car. Got some crew spaces here. So yeah, not really sure what type of crew. Maybe some stewards here. I don't know. These aren't labeled. So yeah, just a little bit of crew areas here. Making our way aft, you got more lavatories here. So, if you're in the a la carte restaurant, you're not too far away. And also if you're in the winter garden here. And yeah, so at the far back of the promenade deck, you do have the second class winter garden, which hasn't changed much. The style still pretty much the same, but the biggest difference is the actual well here. So it's kind of in the center here, as you can see. Yeah, so you got the pantry here, which connects to the restaurant as well. So yeah, it doesn't seem like there's that much seating because the well takes up a considerable amount of space here in the middle area here. But it does look like the actual winter garden has been expanded in size in order to create a bit more space because of the well takes up, a bit of space there. So yeah, and you do have the end of the covered, the enclosed promenade here, as you can see. Got some ladders here, and you also do have kind of this canvas here to provide shade. And yeah, so there's the end of the promenade deck here. And then up next we do have a deck here. So yeah, again, like I said, we do have a deck now. And you do have a bunch of deck space out in the front here. Quite a lot of space here, as you can see. And you got windows looking into the Club Iconic here. So, of course, on Tyrannic you had Club Tyrannic. And on Heroic you had Club Heroic, of course named after a ship. And in Iconic you have Club Iconic. And so yeah, you can see that it's a new design here. It's more modern, as you can see. Of course, you do have the I here for Iconic here. Another change is you see that there's now a cafe here, although this right here is actually referred to as the Winter Garden. So yeah, this wasn't here on the previous ships. So you have kind of this separate area from the actual club here. So it's pretty nice here. And of course, it's very open here, you know, no doors here. It leads right into the room here. And I do like the style of this room as well. I think the tiled floor adds a bit more character to this room. Looks very nice here. And it does have windows looking out onto the forecastle here. Of course, since the forward well deck is now covered. So yeah, very nice area here. And I think out of all three ships, I think the club here looks the nicest here. I like the design of the ceiling here. So yeah, got the bar here, got kind of like the little mural. So yeah, and this is the lower level on B deck. So yeah, let's go back up to A deck here. And you got kind of another little promenade space here. And this can be accessed from the passenger accommodation here. So you don't have a whole lot of passenger accommodation in this forward area. Mostly because if you did have any suites here, you know, you can't really have any because of the upper level of the club here. And you also do have the loft suites here, which do span 2 decks, so that's the reason why you don't see any doors here on this side. You only have a handful of cabins up here, and most of them are pretty basic here. So pretty standard rooms here, but some of them do actually get a private bath here, as you can see. So yeah, you also got some more lavatories, baths, stores, and this all does come off of the main staircase here. Got the piano here, which was here on Heroic. So yeah, more lavatories, plenty of seating. So yeah, really like this design here. And on the port side, and only on the port side, you have more accommodation here. And you do have the different period styles, which we did see on the earlier ships. So you do have the old Dutch room here. And all of these cabins, well, at least the ones on the exterior side do all have private baths. Got some lavatories. So yeah, Louis XVI here. Modern Dutch, and then they start repeating after a while. So I'm going to show you a few of them. Empire here, Empire style. So yeah, a lot of these are from the Olympic class here. Crew mess here. So yeah, this is also new, it looks like. I don't remember this being on here on the earlier ships. So yeah, air ventilation, chief stewards, so a little bit of crew areas there, more towards the starboard side. So yeah, Empire Room, Louis XVI. And there's also more loft suites here, although these ones are smaller. You do have the first class library, and it is the same style as Heroics. On Tyrannic it was different. Here on Iconic it's pretty much the same as Heroics, which is interesting because on the old version the design was a little bit different as well. But this all right here is pretty much just Heroics library. Got the second entrance that leads to the Aft Staircase here. Very nice. Got some library attendants here. A librarian here, very close to the library. Crew only, and this leads back to second class here. Again, got a stateroom here. More elevators. And this door is open for some reason. And this leads to the cinematic room here. So yeah, got the Iconic Cinema, named after Iconic here. Again, this is all pretty much the same as the earlier ships here, the previous ships. And you do have the redstone lamps, so you can turn these off to immerse yourself in the movie. And yeah, you do have a little bit of crew areas here for the actual cinema crew, which would operate the projector room here. And you do have this emergency exit, and this leads back up to the smoke room, and also to the top deck, as you can see. Back down to A deck here, so yeah, you do have the actual projector. And you also do have some lavatories as well. Crew only. So yeah, and you do have this promenade space here, which you can see is now enclosed. This was completely open on the earlier ships. It's now enclosed here, as you can see. It's another one of the external differences as you can see. So yeah, I got some deck chairs here, of course. Nice place to relax here. You don't have to worry about wind because that's the reason why you now have the enclosed windows here. So I guess a passenger must have complained about too much wind, and it is now enclosed. And this promenade deck space, I believe, is for second class, if I'm correct. And again, you do have kind of this canvas cover here to provide shade. So yeah, entrance. And at the rear here, you do have second class. So yeah, I got some lavatories. And all along this side is just cabins, just upon cabins here. Same style as the previous ships. Still got the kids club here. Very nice. Of course, this would be for second class children. And yeah, the flooring is still the same style and everything here. This hasn't really changed here. Although it would have been a nice touch for this to have been a little bit different. But yeah, you still do have some baths there. Got the main staircase here again, of course, with some lavatories just off of it. Back around over here, you still have the ocean cinema, so second class also does get a cinema here, although it's a little bit smaller here, and the projector is right out in the open here, so it's not, you know, behind in a separate room here. And then yeah, it's just cabins here. Plenty of cabins here, with a separate entrance here on the other side of the promenade space here. And let's see. So yeah, and then just more lavatories and more cabins. So yeah, we're pretty much done with this area here. And this leads back into first class here. So we're done with A deck here. Right, yep, so let's go down to B deck here. Again, you do have the main staircase here. So yeah, let's see, what do we have here? So yeah, we got some crew areas here. Off to the side here, let's see what kind of crew do we have. Pantrymen, stewards, yeah. So yeah, you still do have the little newsstand here, as you can see. But it doesn't have the little sitting area that Tyrannic had. So yeah, I got the newsstand there, and you still do have the children's playroom for first class, which actually spans 2 levels here. And you have more accommodation, you do have more suites. You got some more period styles here. And the loft suites are pretty cool because they span 2 decks here. So they look very nice here. Although the styles here haven't changed at all since Tyrannic, so it's still the same styles here. This is all really the same. So yeah, Italian Renaissance, and all of these do have a private bath that also spans 2 decks. And you also do have the standard rooms as well. Modern Dutch, Empire, so yeah, all kinds of different styles. And this is the entrance that leads to the actual club here, as you can see. So the lower level here. Lavatories here, gentlemen. And it's pretty much the same here on the other side, but you do have a little bit of different styles here. So yeah, the Chippendale style, again, the same as what we saw with the previous sisters. And you do have a little bit more of some of the standard basic cabins. Um, so yeah, and you can see that in order to get to the aft section for first class, you actually either have to go up or down. The reason being is that you do have the restaurant area, and it spans 3 decks, so that's the reason why you can't just cross the other side here. But right over here, you have the Ledberry Restaurant. We'll go more into detail about it when we actually get there. But right now, we should be in the aft section of first class here. And you do have a lot of accommodation back here. So you have a lot of these kinds of rooms right here. Basic, standard first class cabins with 1 berth here. So if you're traveling alone, that might be your best option there. So yeah, it's pretty much like a maze. I do sometimes get lost. But yeah, I do have more of the loft suites here. Like I said, these are smaller here. And in my opinion, not as nice. So, but, I wouldn't mind traveling in them. They're definitely, not bad. But as for me, I would probably prefer one of the loft suites in the forward section. Or if I'm lucky enough, even one of the actual suites. So yeah, just a bunch of different styles there. And you also do have the Chippendale room here. This leads back to second class. Alright, but first let's finish up first class. So yeah, I got some lavatories. Aft staircase here. But you do have the banking room here. So this was actually on the previous ships, the gymnasium, but now you have a banking room here. So that's very interesting. And crew only. Okay, so yeah, kind of like an office here. So yeah, for like meetings and stuff here. Yeah, I got a little board as well. Kind of like a little waiting area. B deck. Okay. And the only other really notable thing that's in this area is the wine bar for first class here. You did have this on the previous ships, so yeah. And this is a really nice space. I always like this space here. I like the look of it. I like the brick and the stone bricks here. Very nice here. And it does have this gangway door here, similar to what you see with the Titanic and its Cafe Parisienne. And you do have the pantry that serves the wine bar. And some lavatories. So, if you have to go use the restroom, you won't have to go too far. You do have some more lavatories back here, although these are probably for the accommodation in this area. So yeah, back to second class, and yeah, more basic second class cabins, pretty typical here. The second class doesn't get all these fancy period styles. It's all just the same style here. And this is also pretty much the same as on the previous ships, especially Heroic. This all right here is just the same. Yeah, got the lavatories. Same design here. More cabins. So various cabins here in different shapes and sizes. Mostly 4-berth cabins. It's perfect for families. But yeah, the most notable location in this area is the second class public room here, which I mentioned. And so you can see that adding the well here, that's a little bit more light in, because without it, it does look a little bit dark here, because it really has no windows, as you can see. It's an interior room. So yeah, second class public room, new design here. It's much more modern as well. Got a different design here. But you still do have the fireplace, and kind of the dance floor here, piano, and this is where the band would play live music. So you got the little whatever you call it for the sheet music here. So yeah, it's a very nice spot for second class. It's definitely my favorite room of second class. And over here, you got kind of this revolving door here that leads into the galley / pantry area that serves the actual grill room here. So hang on, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So yeah, I got the grill room here, which has been here on all 3 ships. Whoa, that's really dark corner. Okay, that might be a glitch, I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, you do have the second class grill room. It's a very nice room. I love the design here. And I like how the end rods kind of give it a really nice feel here. Definitely kind of almost atmospheric, really. There's just something about it that I really like here. So it's a very nice spot here. Again, another dining option for second class here. So, you know, they don't have to go to the dining saloon per se. They can go here or the a la carte restaurant up on the Promenade Deck. So, very nice. And outside here, we're near the stern here. And yeah, so you still got the staircases that lead up to A deck here. And of course, this is all second class here. This is all second class up until you reach this point here. And then this is like crew here. And I wish it wasn't dark here because it's a little bit hard to see, but at the same time, look at that. It looks really good here. But anyways, yeah, so a lot of detail here. Cargo hatches, winches, ventilation, cargo cranes here. And these are some really big cargo cranes. And you even have some more life rafts as well. And then, yeah, the stern here, you do have tourist class. So you have a single deck house here for the actual tourist class here. Got the tourist entrance. And yeah, and like I've said, there are 4 classes on the ship. So yeah, first class, second class, tourist class, and third class. Although on Heroic and Iconic, the third class accommodation has been swapped out with crew. So only at Tyrannic do you actually have third class accommodation. And yeah, so this is all the same as what you saw with Tyrannic and Heroic, so, you know, don't expect anything to be different. This is all the same here. You know, still got the main staircase here, you know, the 2 staircases that run down. And the only public space that's up on B deck for tourist class is the lounge. And it does have a big skylight here. It's got a dance floor, so it's a very nice spot. One of my favorite spots of the entire tourist class accommodation. And it does have a pantry right here to serve any drinks or maybe even any snacks. So, and you do have the lifeboat stations here at the stern. So you got 3 lifeboat stations on each side, so 6 in total. Just like we saw with Heroic. And you do have a small little deck house here for deck chairs. And I also like that he numbered the lifeboats. That's a very nice touch. And up here on top of the deck house, which would be actually A deck, you got some deck chairs and the actual weather cover for the skylight here over the lounge. Some ventilation here, and past this point is actually crew, since this is the docking bridge. And you do have the flagpole at the very far back of the ship here. So yeah, there's B deck. And up next we have C deck here. And we are going to see some more differences here. You are going to get to see the inside of the enclosed well deck here. So yeah, like I've said, on Tyrannic and Heroic, this was open. Here, it's enclosed, just like on the old version. So, you know, provides some Some protection against the elements here. Very nice here. So yeah, it does change the, it does look a little bit different with the actual well deck enclosed here. But it still does have this door here that leads to first class here. So it's not a whole lot has changed, really, having the forward well deck enclosed. But the cargo hatches, as you can see, were raised a deck higher to account for the well deck being enclosed. And also the actual staircases here as well are now kind of protected here. They have these covers here. And here's the actual forecastle here with the breakwater. And let's go to the prow here. Yeah, see what it looks like here. Wow, you can really just get an idea of how big this ship is. It's absolutely gigantic. Looks really good. I absolutely love it. But anyways, yeah, and I also kind of want to take a look at the crow's nest while we're here. A lot of detail. You even have the got the bell. Wow, the attention to detail is just like overwhelming. The dedication is really admirable. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, staircases here. And you do have the crew quarters here. So formerly on Tyrannic, this was third class. On Heroic and Iconic, it is now crew here. So yeah, this leads down to the I think the lounge, right? And at the very forward section, you do have the crew quarters here still. So again, it's pretty basic and not really that interesting. You know, it's pretty much just a bunch of storage rooms. Got some staircases. These are the main crew staircases. Seamen, so, you know, basic dormitory style rooms here. You know, that's pretty much what you can expect. Seaman's mess here, yeah, this is all the same. Deck engineers, so yeah, they get a little bit nicer of a cabin here. More ropes here, as you can see, so a lot of technical stuff here, as you can see. So yeah, some workshops, some paint stores, ropes, so chief seaman, pantry. Yeah, you pretty much get the idea here. And okay, so yeah. Let's head back into first class, which can be accessed through this hallway here. Yeah, crew only, since first class would not really be allowed there. So you now have the Adriatic suite that's replaced the owner suite, and of course the Adriatic is the one of the ships of the Big Four. That's the last vessel of the Big Four, and it's also one of the vessels in the original Oceanic class of the White Star Line. So, but yeah, like I said, this was the owner suite. Now it's the Adriatic suite. It's been renamed. But it looks like it's still pretty much the same style here. I don't think it's changed really. You know, it's still got 3 entrances here. That's a very big suite. I think it's actually the biggest suite on board. So it would probably be the most expensive one. And you also do have the Laurentic suite, another White Star Liner here. And this was the Lloyd suite on Tyrannic and the Homeric suite on Heroic. And then on the exterior here, well, first up, you do have kind of this interesting suite here with a very interesting setup here. So yeah, it has a sitting room and a bedroom, kind of connected to this hallway here, and also a private bath. But also alongside the exterior, you do have these staterooms decorated in similar styles to what you see with the Britannic 3 and Georgia 2. as well as the Olympic later in her career in the 30s, where it was given some new styles like the colonial style, Queen Anne, Tudor style. So, a bunch of different styles here. And you do have the three styles. So, just showing them off here. And then they repeat after that. So, yeah. And all of them do have private baths as well. On the interior, you have basic first-class cabins. And they also don't have any windows as well. On Tyrannic, some of these cabins actually had, or I think on the deck above, had windows looking into the children's playroom, which they don't anymore. So yeah, more staterooms back this way. Back in the main staircase again here, which does have the actual entrance leading into the kids club for first class, of course. And this central area spans 2 levels here. So yeah, you can see that the windows are also not here, along with Heroic here. So yeah, I got the kids club here. It has this upper level, which contains an office, childminder, classroom, and also a small lavatory there. And this is all pretty much the same on the other side here. Yeah, more staterooms here. It's pretty much symmetrical. And again, just like with C deck or actually, okay, yeah, on C deck here, and up on B deck, you can't directly reach the aft section. You have to either go up or down, like I've said. So you do have the kind of the mid-level of the Ledberry Restaurant. So yeah, just hang in there. We're going to review that space very soon. So yeah, in the aft section, we've ended up in the first class hospital here. So yeah, got the surgery room, got the morgue, and a little storage area. And you do have some patient rooms, lavatories, crew only. Yeah, crew only. So yeah, there was the hospital, and you do have the doctor here, the doctor's office, crew only, and this is for the medical personnel. I'll definitely guess. And the most notable location here is the first class casino. Also here on all 3 ships here. And this has also remained unchanged as well. So yeah, you know, pretty much the same here. Not going to get too much into it. Got some plants here. Again, the same style here that matches the rest of the staircase. Crew only, so kind of got the back, kind of this back area here. More lavatories. And more accommodation here, more cabins here. And these cabins right here matched more of the old version here that you see on this deck. In the forward section, you did have the different styles here, but here, this was close to the actual, what you saw with the old version. Crew only, and this leads back to second class. Aft staircase, of course. And more first class accommodation. Pretty basic. Nothing too interesting. Back in second class, again, still got the same styles here. Same carpet here. More cabins, which are very similar to ones on the deck above, except these now have portholes. Main staircase that connects all the different levels here. And you can see on this area, on this side it's open, and here it does have an actual wall here, which is interesting. So yeah, more cabins. Locker here for some storage. Yeah, a bunch of cabins here, so none of the second class cabins actually have private baths here. And over here is the aft staircase for second class, which actually starts, the highest level of it is actually on C deck. So, and it does go down a few levels, down to the spa area for second class. Again, it's pretty much the same design here as on the earlier ships. And it's really just cabins at this point here. So yeah, crew only. And we're back in tourist class here. So yeah, smoke room. And you got kind of this promenade space that wraps around. It's very similar to what you see with the Olympic class. And also the Queen Mary. But instead of this being second class, it's tourist class here. And this is second class over here, of course. So yeah, I got some more seating areas here, which we saw on Heroic. Very open here, as you can see. And you do have the smoke room. Again, similar style here. And it does have a few writing tables, which I've seen many smoke rooms during this time actually have writing tables implemented. Like Olympic and actually some of the big 4 ships. Got this hallway here that connects the smoke room and the lounge here. And I'm not sure why these doors are open here. But you do have a bar here and pantry in between to serve the 2 rooms here. So yeah, like I said, this is the social hall. Well, yeah, it's pretty much lounge, you know, similar terms. And yeah, plenty of promenade space here. Again, the aft well deck is enclosed, but this is something you do see, like I've said, on the previous ships, so it's nothing new. Got the main staircase here, or main staircases rather, that lead up back to the lounge here. So that is the lounge. Yeah, I always forget that. So there's a lounge and a social hall. Okay, so yeah, and then back here are some of the actual accommodation here for tourist class. Complete with lavatories, and also none of the tourist class rooms have private baths, just like second class. So yeah, some more. Plenty of cabins here. And back here is the steering engine, which does have a few deck engineers here. And store. So here's the steering engine that controls the rudder here. Lots of detail. And yeah, so up next we have D-Deck here. Probably going to go a little bit faster here, since really once you get down into the actual hull, it's not too different. Really, a lot of the changes lie within the superstructure, but then once you get down to the hull here, not a whole lot has really changed. So yeah, this is all the same as what we saw in Heroic, the crew quarters, formerly the third class areas. So yeah, this would have been the main staircase for third class, but it's now for the crew quarters here. Again, the reason why it's like this is probably because by this point there wasn't a whole lot of third class passengers, since the U.S. restricted a lot of immigrants coming in, so there wasn't as much as a need for third class here. So, and there was already tourist class. A lot of these steamship companies converted their former third class spaces into tourist class, but here you already have tourist class, so these, I guess, just became crew areas. And yeah, crew purser, so the crew gets a purser. That's very interesting. Got the mess room here, which has the entrance leading up to the well deck. Main staircase there. Got the bar for the crew, some lavatories, and also the smoke room for the crew here. Again, this is all what we've seen with Heroic here. First class, this is all the same here. Still got these two styled rooms here. Well, on the interior here, they're the same. But then, yeah, here on the exterior, you have the two different rooms here, which all have private baths, and also some lavatories as well here. So yeah, more staterooms here. And there's also a bunch of staterooms out in the main staircase here. So yeah, down here on D deck for the main staircase, you got a really big landing area here, as you can see, the actual companionway here. And you also do have the pharmacy just off of the main staircase here. Again, it's the same as Tyrannic and Heroic. Got a little couch there. So yeah, and some elevators here, and here you can see the interior of the elevator car. So yeah, Ledberry Restaurant. So yeah, here we finally are. We have the Ledberry Restaurant. On Tyrannic, this was the Andes Restaurant. And on Heroic, this was the Nation Restaurant. Here's the Ledberry Restaurant. What's very interesting is on the old version, this was the social hall. So this wasn't an actual restaurant, it was a social hall. But now it's an actual restaurant, which makes a little bit more sense here. Of course, it's still got the big dome that looks up to the Café de Versailles. Got the big dance hall here, but you still have plenty of seating here along the sides. There's no type of flags here. So in the Andes restaurant, you had flags of steamship companies. In the Nation restaurant, you had flags of different countries. But here it's bare. There's no references to be found here. It's a very nice space, I must say. It's very nice. Really like the design and style here. Very nice room. Feels very open. And it's one of the biggest rooms on the entire vessel. So yeah, really large room, and it is located in between two boiler uptakes to give you an idea of how big it is. And you do have the stage here. Heading aft, you do have the actual galley that serves the actual restaurant, and it is pretty big, since the restaurant would serve so many people at once. So it has an adequate amount of supplies to prepare the food here. Central store. So yeah, going more into some of the back spaces here. Got the elevator here. That leads down to the food storage areas. And this is actually the second class galley, yep. Emergency exit, and this actually leads to the aft staircase. So you can see that the aft staircase on D deck doesn't actually have any exits, doesn't go anywhere. And also the elevators don't make any stops at this level because there's nothing here really. It just goes straight down to E deck instead. But there is an emergency exit for crew, so in an emergency they can escape, pretty quickly through first class. And yeah, so you have a lot of storage areas, a bunch of storage areas here. And yeah, so we got watertight doors here for the bulkheads. And so yeah, second class galley, and this serves the second class dining saloon. So it does have a different style than Tyrannic and Heroic. They all have different styles here, and it makes them unique here. So yeah, very nice style here, and you do have these interesting windows here, which kind of like floor-to-ceiling windows here. Kind of interesting for being this low in the ship. And also the main staircase does pass right through it. So from where we were just before. So yeah, I got the spot for the band to play. And plenty of seating. Got some partitions here. Yeah, really large room here. And you also do have the elevator. And back here you have more cabins, and these are, again, the same style here as what we saw on the upper two decks, just a different arrangement of the actual furniture. You have some stewardesses here. Aft Staircase, and also an information desk here. Technical room. So yeah, an air vent. So yeah, more second-class accommodation here. Watertight door here that leads directly into the tourist class dining saloon. So yeah, it's also pretty large here, as you can see. It does have mostly these long tables here, like an actual saloon, but it does have a few tables here that can seat 2, 4, or even 8 people at a table. So yeah, very nice design here, and it's pretty much the same as Heroics, although Tyrannic had a different style. And of course you do have the galley areas here for the actual tourist class dining saloon. Back in the main staircase, which just comes down right outside of the actual saloon. And you do have the information desks, and I think the purser for tourist class. So this right here is the gangway. So you come in, and right off you already have the information desk if you require any assistance. Whether it's finding your stateroom or schedules or stuff like that. And of course back here you have more accommodation. Crew only at the stern here. So yeah, I got some stewards and a storage area here. And yeah, so up next is E deck. And yeah, so let's go through a gangway here. I think we're back in first class. Yes, we are. So yeah, main staircase here, getting pretty close to the bottom, as you can see. So yeah, you do have the ticket office here for the Altamar Theater. And this has been here on the previous two ships, but here you can see that it actually now has a different style. Tyrannic and Heroic both had kind of this primarily kind of like red design here with the flooring and the curtains. But here on Iconic, it's more of a blue color, as you can see. Other than that, it's pretty much the same room. So, and it's a really large room. It spans 3 decks here. So up here on E deck, this is the upper level. Still got the little shops here. So there is the little shopping center up on the Promenade Deck. But down on E deck, there are a few more shops, like the souvenir shop. Oh yeah, and then you have another Atlantic room down here as well. So just another place to get drinks here. And on the other side here, you do have the art gallery. And the current exhibition is the Art of Flowers. Whoa, that is a lot of flowers. So yeah, on all 3 ships, the actual exhibits are different. So that's a very nice touch. And you do have the money change, okay. The other gangway there. And you still do have the Botanic World from the from Heroic. On Tyrannic, it was the Botanic Garden, but it's pretty much just the same room. Spans 2 decks here. Another one of my personal favorite rooms here. So yeah, and you do have the different biomes of Minecraft. You got the cold room. And yeah, you kind of do have this walkway. So kind of stay on the trail here. Follow the trail. And yeah, so you got the grassland. Desert. So yeah, let's take a look at desert. Yep. It's all the same, so that's why I'm not really spending too much time here. I think I missed one, did I? I'm not sure. So yeah. And here's the second entrance. So the Botanic World can be accessed from either the main staircase or the aft staircase here. And you have more gangways, more crew. So yeah, and this is actually where the aft staircase terminates. It does not go further down than this, because you do have the first class dining saloon. But you still do have the flower shop here. And everything here is just pretty much the same as all the ships, the previous sisters. It's the same layout, but the only thing different is the actual design here. You know, the flooring, the wall paneling. So, and you do have some cabins off to the side here. Basic first class cabins. So, and these are some of the cheapest first class cabins because they're some of the lowest cabins for first class. So yeah. Got more crew spaces. A lot of crew spaces, so you do have the chief cook here. Private bath. Mess. Cooks. So yeah, a lot of more of the galley staff here. Yeah, pantry. Cooks, yeah, a lot of cooks. Because you saw how big that restaurant is. Even got Jewish cooks as well. Pantrymen. Dishwashers. So yeah, it's pretty much just a galley crew here. And dishwashers at the very end of the hallway here. And I got kind of this long hallway here. Another lighting glitch. And second class. And this connects to the aft staircase on E deck here. So the staircase does go down one more level, down to the spa area. And second class also kind of gets a little shopping area. So, you know, got a clothes shop here. Again, this was seen on all sisters here. Bookstore, drugstore, shoes. Second class art gallery, still the same exhibit as the earlier two ships. And got a jewelry shop. What's down here? Oh yeah, manicurist and souvenir shop. And also money change for second class here. Although I think you forgot to change the coverings here because they look like Tyrannics. And here's the actual engine hatch here. Oh, and also a grocery store. So a lot of shops here, and you also do have this little kiosk here out in the companionway. Lavatories, of course. You have a small staircase going down to F deck here. Since this is where the elevator and forward main staircase for second class actually terminate. It doesn't go down further than this. So it stops at E deck. And right off the staircase is also worth noting is where the gymnasium for second class is located as well. So right behind the first class accommodation. And yeah, so we should head back into tourist class. Oh wait, no. First we got some food storage areas for all of the different food on board. Of course, there's a lot of passengers, so of course you are going to require a lot of storage for food. For everyone, really, for crew as well. So yeah, we're back in tourist class. Of course, tourist class is located at the stern. And yeah, so you have more accommodation, basically, on this deck. Quite a bit of it, as you can see, yeah. This is where a good portion of tourist class is accommodated. And you do have the main staircase here as well, here at E deck. And more cabins, as you can see. Yup, it's pretty much just a maze of cabins. Crew only, and yeah, you have a little storage area at the back. And up next we have F deck here. So yeah, we're almost done here. But we still have a little bit left to go here. So yeah, back in first class. And yeah, we're on F deck here. So also the companionway here is pretty big here. I think it's actually the biggest, so it's really big and open here. The reason being, since you do have, this is one of the main access points for first class here. As you can see, there's two gangways here. And there are bigger doors here, as you can see, so they would, and there's also two on the other side here, so a lot of first class passengers would come through this area. So of course it's going to be very big. And of course, being one of the main access points, you are going to naturally have the information desk here as well. So you got the purser's office and treasurer as well. So pretty much the main help center here. And you also have some crew spaces alongside, and also the cloakroom as well. So yeah, staircase, elevators, yeah. Crew only, and you do have kind of the 2H deck, kind of the back stage area for the music room. So yeah, so let's see, lavatories, of course. And you also do have the board news district here. All the ships do have their own newspaper. So on Iconic is the Iconic Times, of course, named after the Iconic. And you do have the printing room there. And you do also have the mid-level of the theater. And also for the crew quarters in the forward section, you also do have the swimming bath here. Sorry about that. I've been talking for quite a bit now. We're almost done. So yeah, we got the sauna here as well. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I got some changing rooms, of course. So yeah, this is the lower level, the lowest level of the actual crew quarters here. And then up on E deck, which I haven't reviewed, it's pretty much just cabins. So it's nothing too interesting. Here's what a typical cabin looks like. So it's pretty much the same as what we saw in Heroic, and really even Tyrannic, since these cabins haven't changed much. And the reason that I review this area is because you can see that there's now an extra staircase here, which wasn't here on any of the previous ships. So it just makes it a little bit easier for the crew to get to this area here. This is kind of the backstage area of the actual theater here. So yeah, like the makeup here, and you also do have some other stuff here. You got the pool control area for the crew pool. So yeah, stage, and this does lead to the backstage area here. So yeah, but on with F deck here. Yeah, I got kind of the little backstage area for the pantry of the music room here. And yeah, so, and then for the rest of the first class areas on F deck, It's pretty much just the upper level of some of the public spaces on G Deck, like for example this right here, being some of the public spaces, the dining saloon for example. So we'll get to those areas once we head down to G Deck. So yeah, the upper level here, and then back here you do have the just like with first class, one of the main access areas for second class here. As you can see, more gangways. And just like first class, you do have the main help center, so you got the purser's office, an information desk, and here's the small staircase that we saw coming off the main staircase here. And then past this point, it's crew. So down on G Deck, this is now crew. As you can see, even the actual decorations are a little bit more plain than up here. You also do have the last of the second class accommodation here, but there you have a pool attendant and some bath assistants. Really on this area. But on the starboard side, you do have some second class accommodation. This is also where the aft staircase terminates as well. And you do have the spa area for second class here. So yeah, I got the shampooing rooms, children's pool, electric bath, temperate room, and I think this is the same as Heroics. Hang on, so cooling room. Okay, so that looks different. Sauna and steam bath. So yeah, there was part of the spa area. You do have some changing rooms out here. And past this bulkhead, you do actually have the main center, kind of the focus point of the spa area, and that is the swimming bath here. It spans 2 decks. It's very big, very elaborate. So, very nice area here. And a very big pool here. And right behind this is the tourist class swimming bath. And these 2 areas have remained unchanged since Tyrannic. So it's all pretty much the same here. So yeah, again, it spans 2 decks here. Got the cargo hatch running through this, so that's why you kind of got this thing here. And here's the spa area for tourist class. You got some crew areas, yeah, like the spa attendants, of course. Some baths here, changing rooms, pretty much anything you could find for the actual spa areas. So yeah, I got the sauna here, steam bath, lavatories, and temperate room. So yeah, I can see that we're close to the stern because you can see the actual hull here. Cooling room. And yeah, this is the main staircase, which, as you can see, also terminates at this level here. Doesn't go down any further. And then back here, you do have some more crew areas here, with some stewards and storage areas here. You also do have this crew staircase that leads down all the way down to actually the bottom of the ship in this compartment. So you'll get to see that a little bit later. But yeah, so up next is G Deck. And so yeah, let's go through the first class staircase. And we're lagging really badly right now. So yeah, down here on G Deck, you do have the main staircase again. Although, as you can see, this is where it terminates. But you do have a smaller staircase going down to H Deck, to the spa area for first class. And you can look all the way up. So, it's been quite a journey, but we finally made it here. So yeah, got some theater personnel here. Since this is actually another entrance to the theater right here. So this is the lower level here, the lowest level of the theater here. So yeah, some lavatories, of course, not too far away. Plenty of seating here. It's another very open area, as you can see. Iconic time, so I got an office and some storage areas. Also do have a dark room. And also this is where the elevators terminate as well. And this area just kind of wraps around. So yeah, you got the flower shop, and this is where a few more shops are found. Yeah, bakery. And this is a little pantry area. For the music room, we'll be getting to that very shortly. You do have the gallery here, with a new style, of course, that kind of matches more iconic than the other ships. Of course, they all have their own styles. Yeah, more pantry areas. Godiva, Belgium. So yeah, this room is like kind of like a cafe. You know, it's named after the Belgian chocolate company, which I'm a really big fan of their chocolate. And so I guess this is like a cafe. On the old version, this was the ballroom. So, but the style here is like matches very closely to the actual ballroom. You know, it's improved, but like the general decor is pretty much the same here. And it had this giant, kind of like like mosaic here. So, and yeah, this all wraps around the uptake here. Got the first class music room with a new design here. Dance floor, of course, still has the dance floor, and a little stage here. And this is the pantry area here. And this all connects here. So yeah, another very nice room here. And it also does have a little bookcase there. Got the private dining saloon. With a new design. It's not red anymore, it's blue here, as you can see. So just like the theater, you know, it's more of a blue color here. Our last stop here is the dining saloon. So, and of course, it also does have a new design here. A new style here. Got another entrance for the private dining saloon. So yeah, another very large room, spans 2 decks. It's very big. Although it doesn't have the organ like the Heroic did, which is interesting. And you can look into the one of the cargo hatches here. So it's got windows here. So yeah, plenty of seating. Definitely no shortage of seating here. And got a little buffet stand at the back. Bar. So, got just another bar here. So you have the Great Britain pub, and you also got a bar here as well. And on the other side, you do have crew. So this is the galley / pantry areas for the dining saloon, and they're pretty big as well. So yeah, watertight doors here, and mostly just crew areas here. So you have plates, baker shop, cooling room, bread room, confectionery. And this is the lower level of the second class swing bath, and also the lower level of the tourist class. And you also do have cargo holds now at this point. So no more tourist class areas here, it's just crew at the stern now. Staircases here. So yeah, G deck. And we're very close now, guys. We're going to H deck here. And this is also some of the last areas for first class as well. But first, yeah, we ended up in some crew areas here. Doing this kind of weird, but anyways, yeah. So you do have a bunch of crew areas here. really more at this point. Okay, this is where I want it to be. So yeah, going down from G deck here, you do come down to the spa area for first class here. And our first stop is the Imperial Ching Saloon. So this right here on Tyrannic and Heroic was the Masonic Bath, but now it's the this room here. Sorry, kind of had a little brain fart there, but yeah. So again, kind of got the Asian style here. You see this with the old version too. Of course, here it's improved again, and you do have some, changing rooms. Yeah, still got the gymnasium here. Very nice design here. And very nice dumbbell design there too. Crew only, and yeah, so that leads to more crew areas. So yeah, the spa area is the only first class area down on H deck. Then it's just pretty much crew. So yeah, I got some shampooing rooms. And of course, you can see the flooring matches that of the main staircase. Sauna here. Temperate room. I think new designs. Electric bath. Changing rooms. Steam bath. And also the mud bath. So, on the earlier ships, this was the milk bath. Now you do have the mud bath here. And also, I think these portholes are also a new addition as well. So, it's no longer really an interior room, since the windows are parallel to the exterior portholes here. So yeah. And this is pretty much crew at this point, like I've said, but I do want to review one more space, since I don't think I'm really going to be reviewing too much of this area here, since there's really nothing that's been really changed that I know of. So yeah, it's just really crew at this point, like I said a million times. But on I deck here, you do have the Roman bath. So on Tyrannic and Heroic, you did have the Babylonian bath, but now you do have the Roman bath. And this was also here on the old version. You had the Roman Tem. But yeah, so you have the Roman bath here. It's the same shape and everything, pretty much the same furniture as well. But it's a new style and design here, which I'm also a big fan of as well. Looks very nice. Definitely really reminds me of some of the grand Roman baths that you always hear about. So it's very nice. Of course, spans 2 decks here. And yeah, so also on I deck, like on H deck, it's really just crew at this point. Just a lot of crew areas. It's really just a maze of crew areas. So, pretty basic, got the white walls, kind of the carpet here. And occasionally you do find, like a mess, something different than just cabins here, because there are a lot of cabins down here. 2 boiler rooms, so yeah, I got some access to the boiler rooms. So yeah, nothing really too interesting here, which is why I'm kind of flying through it. Of course, you still do have the cargo holds in the forward section as well. Underneath the former third class spaces, which is now crew. Got some storage areas here for the forepeak with a ladder here. So yeah. Store. store. So yeah, with that, let's go down to the Orlap deck. And yeah, so this is all just the same here. You know, got the water tanks in the forward section here. And can't see anything. Okay, so yeah, got the fireman staircase here, as you can see. So again, pretty much the same as the previous ships. And of course, this is where the firemen would go all the way down to the very deep parts of the ship, go down the fireman's passage here. And of course, on this side, this is all the firemen that's coming from the staircase, going to work. And then when their shift's up, they go down this direction, back up. So, but anyways, yeah, you do have the boiler rooms, which do span a few decks here. So pretty much the entire hull. Lots of detail. And pretty, you know, similar arrangement to the earlier ships. This is really pretty much the same. And you do have a lot of boiler rooms, of course. It's a big ship. It's going to require a lot of power. And I think these are oil burning bunkers. And in the middle here, you got the some water tanks here and some, I think, some sewage as well. More boiler rooms, yeah. Yeah, catwalks, uptakes here. Going all the way up to the top deck. And now you have one of two engine rooms here. Again, it's all just a similar arrangement here. Very big rooms here. Yeah, and you do have the engine hatches as well. With a escape ladder here, as you can see. Well, actually a few. Going all the way up back to the top deck. You can either take the ladder, or if you prefer, you can take the elevator. So yeah, plenty of catwalks and staircases here, getting up to all the different levels here. Yeah, lots of detail here. Yeah, so stern turbine, Corp shipyard, propeller shafts. Whoa. And yeah, so you have the second engine room here. So got the second cargo hatch here. And this leads back up to the galley areas here. Let's see, let's make sure I didn't get turned around. Okay, yeah. And then here I think is like the generators. So, and like the electric engines, so it powers all the electricity on board. Yeah, more propeller shafts here. And what the heck is going on here? Okay, so it's like a storage area. Wow, there is not a whole lot of space here to move around. I don't think this was here on the first two ships. I don't remember seeing that. And then yeah, you have these things here too, which I'm not sure what these are. If you know what they are, please leave it in the comments, and I'll pin your comment because I'm actually very curious as to what those are. And then yeah, so here at the very stern here, you do have the staircase that leads up to the crew areas here. Yeah, the cargo holds and some of the crew accommodation. So yeah, and also tourist class as well. And yeah, guys, so there you have it. There is the RMS Iconic. So yeah, uh, all in all, very great build, just like the rest of her sisters. If I had to rank the Tyrannic class, it would probably be, my most favored would probably be Heroic, my second being Iconic, and my third favorite being Tyrannic. Although, I still like all of them quite a bit, and also Tyrannic. So just because it's in my third place doesn't mean I don't like it. They're all very great vessels, very unique from each other. So, uh, yeah, I can definitely tell that Cronosdarth has been very dedicated to this class of ships. Dedicated to building a fictional class of ships. Usually, it's very dedicated to like real ships, but here, these are fictional. Everything that you see here is pretty much from his mind. He came up with all of this, so it's completely custom. There are references and there is some inspiration from other vessels, but it's pretty much his own design. So, and you saw just how many rooms there are, so you can tell he's very dedicated to this. And having to build 3 separate vessels, all with all different, uh, you know, designs and characteristics, it's absolutely insane. So it's very inspiring. Um, and who knows if he'll update these even further in the future? That would be pretty cool. But I think personally he should stop at here because I think right now, these look good. I would definitely love to see kind of like a future version. So I'm guessing that the way he built this is that these ships are, what they were built as originally. But it would be cool to see like, refits to these. So as the ship's career goes on, naturally it's going to receive refits here and there, so there would be some changes. So it would be cool to see that. And I think, that's what he should do. Because I think these ships right here look fine they fine the way they are right now. I personally I don't really have any problems with it. I think they're really just pretty much perfect. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and also if you've watched the other two, give yourself a pat on the back because these were some really in-depth reviews. These are some really large ships, so there's a lot to cover. So it's like, if you combine all 3 videos, it's like, what, like 5 hours? So, yeah, if you've watched all of them in full, give yourself a pat on the back. Go out for some ice cream or something, because there was definitely a lot to cover. But I definitely had fun with this class. It's definitely probably the best class of fictional ocean liners ever. Not just because of the size, but the detail. Um, Definitely just sheer dedication. So, who knows? Maybe I'll do something similar. So, but yeah. So thank you guys again for watching this. It's definitely been fun reviewing uh, these 3 liners. Um, and yeah, I think I've gone on for long enough here. So yeah, again, if you have any suggestions or comments, do feel free to leave them in the comments below. I definitely read all and try to reply to all comments. So, but yeah, so thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye for now.